We're going live. All right. One quick thingy here, and then we will get this party started. Thank you. All right, well, welcome everybody here to the live stream. We're going to get started here. We hope that you enjoyed today's presentation, and let's get started. Oh, wrong meeting. How about we do this? And we have a microphone somewhere, so let me find that. Hello? Yes, they were live. Good. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey, how is everybody today? Those of you who had to stand outside with me this morning are a little sweaty, so glad we're in the cool air conditioning now. All right, we have so much planned for you today. I am super, super excited about today's content and what we're going to share today, because I really feel like the reason I created this, now it's going to be a series of 5 events for you guys, is the last quarter of the year is that time when either we're already aware that we're sort of not on track to hit our goals, or we're sort of just ignoring the fact that we're not on goal, right? And then we don't really pay attention to that until it's time to do taxes in April, right? So I was thinking ahead to Christmas, and I was thinking about, well, what could I do to gift you guys, like the best gift that would ever be given, right, for this year? And most of my clients are saying that they want more clients, and if they could have more clients, that would be like super amazing. And with that comes wanting more money as well, and more freedom and more time. So I brainstormed what would be the most fabulous gift for you guys to have, and that's how I came up with the 100K challenge, is if I could gift you a way to make $100,000 by the end of the year, or at least set yourself up so that 2015 was a 6-figure year, that would be pretty awesome, right? Like really awesome? Yes, right? And so I'm going to walk you through today. Hopefully, my main intention is just to inspire you that it's completely possible, and to challenge your brain that it's completely possible, and it can be super easy. And then for those of you who need the steps and the action plans, you will get that as well too. And then we also have 2 amazing speakers here today to support those goals in helping us, because we can't do this alone. So we have 2 important speakers here today to talk more about how to actually get more clients from a resource that you've got right under your nose. And then we'll have Alex back again to talk about how we're representing ourselves visually so that the world looks at us like the 6-figure entrepreneur, 7-figure entrepreneur that we really are. So how can it get any better than this? I want to welcome our insiders. Those are all of you guys who join me on a regular basis, and if you're not an insider and you're a first-time guest, we will talk to you about the possibility of becoming an insider, if that's right for you, at the end. But for now, just enjoy all the content. We also thank all of you guys who are on the live stream. Hello. We've got people from all over the world joining in live, as well as watching the video recordings as we go along. And we'd like to thank our sponsors. This month we've got the South Florida Business Journal here. You guys met Victoria last month talking to us about this amazing resource that we've got that talks about the most influential people, the best business owners right here in our backyards that we should all be doing business with. And Alex, as well as a sponsor, the Creative Complex, is here once again to support us in all our creative needs. I think most of you here have done business with Alex, and if you haven't, you'll get to meet him today. But all of our brands are coming alive because of Alex and his team's amazing graphic design and branding work. So today I would love for you guys, we have Wi-Fi in the room. Did everybody figure out the Wi-Fi code and that? Everybody's got good there? All right, for those of you who want to tweet, Facebook, Google, talk about your insights, we're going to use the hashtag #ExpandYourImpact and the hashtag 100K 100 days. Now, I tried the hashtag 100K challenge, and it has something to do with dogs. So I don't know what that means. We're not going to use that hashtag, but 100K 100 days should be the hashtag that just us can use for this event. If you don't know what hashtags are or you don't know how to use them, get with a neighbor on the break, get with me, and we'll show you how to do that. But this is a perfect place to start to play with hashtags if you're unfamiliar with how to use the technology. All right. So I want to start off with, we always start off with celebrations, because this is the place where, as entrepreneurs, you are in a room full of like-minded individuals, and you are in a room full of people that really understand the troubles and the trials that it takes to be your own boss and to build your own business. And I want to help us celebrate even things that are tiny and little small. You know, sometimes as a mother, it's good that you just got all your clothes on and got the kids out the door. Like, that's a big feat sometimes. And sometimes it's I took a vacation or something like that. So I want to start off, I want you to think about what it is. And since we have the live stream here, I'm going to ask that you come down and get in front of the mic. This is also a great opportunity for you to get your name in front of other businesses and sort of network virtually. But I want to start with Jamie. Jamie, can you come on down here? Jamie is a published author. Come on down. So Jamie was in the workshop I did several months ago where we were doing the Amazon bestseller, and I still believe I have to get you the replay of that. But you are going to release this book on Amazon, right? And we're going to help her make it a bestseller very soon. But she has a physical version here.
Yes.
This is so awesome. I mean,
I know, I'm so
it
happy.
smells like a book.
And I want to say thank you to you,
Make
Mandy.
sure you hit the camera there.
I don't know if you can see me. Okay. So, Mandy, I want to thank you, because without you and all of your training, I would not have this. It wouldn't even be a thought. So I'm thrilled and honored to be able to put this out in the world.
Tell us what it is.
This is called Upscale Your Virtual Assistant Business. And I have a training program by the same name where I train other virtual assistants on how to be exceptional virtual assistants, not just your basic task-based VA. So this book is actually giving this away for free. It's also sold on Amazon, but I will be leading people to the free book, the free PDF download. Excuse me, I'm nervous.
Gonna get you speaking in front of
I
the
know,
camera
I don't
more.
like public speaking. But on the footer of every page, it leads people to the program to learn more about it, to purchase it, all of that. So I'm just honored and just so excited to be holding my book. So that's my success for today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are an inspiration
Thank
to us
you.
all. Other celebrations here. I know you have them. I will call on you because you have to have something. Go ahead. Come on down. We need to name this. You're the next contestant on the Celebration Channel something, right? You have just been like at a mega conference.
I have.
Haven't you?
Yes,
so
I
you
have.
are all pumped up
I
and
am.
ready to go.
Totally. I'm Caroline Doughty, and I have lots of celebrations this month. Yes, I just came back from our annual conference. I work with Rodan and Fields, dermatologists, the doctors who created Proactive, and they have just announced the most amazing new product. So, whoops.
Sorry.
Whoops, daisy.
It's so exciting.
It's so exciting. It jumped out of my hand. So they've just announced the most amazing new product, and my husband I'm celebrating my husband joining me in the business, so that's huge. Yeah, I'm really thrilled. He's partnered with me. And my great friend and the person who introduced me to it, Michelle Taylor. But basically, I feel like they've given us a license to print money. It's they have come up with. I think it's going to be as big as Botox. So we're really, really excited.
And you're not going to tell us what it is?
Would you like to know? Shall I tell you? Okay.
She's done a good job teasing us, hasn't she?
Basically, the tagline is fill a wrinkle overnight, no injection required. So what they've done is they've come up with a way of the contents of like Juvederm and Restylane, the fillers that we use for lines that they inject. They've come up with a way to do this topically. And it's just a little sticker, little patch that you put on your face overnight. It works. The photographs are unbelievable.
You look amazing. Have you been
Thank
using
you.
it?
Yes, I have. Just 2 days. But
you look
Thank
like
you,
a
yeah.
little different there.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's going to be generally available in January, but for right now, for insiders and for consultants, and then preferred customers. They can get it in October.
So we're going to be preferred customers, right?
Oh yeah, all of you.
We might have a little not Botox party there.
Exactly.
Oh, great. Very cool. You're going to have all of us looking great. And men can use it too, right?
Oh yeah.
So Ken, Alex, this is for Keith. All right. One of my clients, I have, his wife is a dermatologist, and she tests out all the new stuff on him. So he's like the most amazing, I think he's in his 60s or 70s, most amazing 70-year-old man I've ever seen. You're like, wow, that's great skin. So that's a great celebration. Any other celebrations? I need one more. Thirds the charm. Come on, Victoria. Come on down. Celebrate. You are looking very Coco Chanel today. Beautiful.
Thank you. Well, I have this amazing boyfriend who I've been very good friends with for a long time, and he runs circles around my children and I, trying to support me and help me. And I have to say, he always makes me feel like $1,000,000 every single time I talk to him on the phone. He's always like, "Hi, beautiful. Hi, beautiful." So for Father's Day this year, I created a business for him. He works really, really hard. He doesn't make a lot of money. And I always tell the women out there that when you're looking for love, look for love. Look for true love, because it's not in somebody's back pocket. And when you have love, everything else will come together. So this is what I did. He loves to fish, and he's out there all the time trying to catch bait, out in the ocean with his boat. So I made a fishing app. It's a resource app. And it's backed up with the website and a print publication. And there's lots of streams of revenue in there. And I've actually kind of cherry-picked a team for him. So he is launching his new business next week.
Woohoo! What's the name of it?
It's www.boyntonbeachfishing.com. It's a test model market. So it's just a 25-mile radius. They have an inlet there. And there's not another inlet for 14 miles either way. So Boynton Beach has become a big area to fish. A couple weeks after that, we're launching Southeast Florida fishing, which is going to be a broader market. So there's tons of revenue streams in there and lots of opportunities, and we're really excited.
Very cool. I caught a bonefish off the pier right across from the inlet in Boynton Beach.
That's awesome.
Like, how can it get any better than that? All right, we've got more celebrations, but we'll let you save those for a break. So I'm going to jump in right now to the content for today, where we're talking about 7 steps to 6 figures, how to create $100,000 in 100 days. And I don't see Stephanie in here yet, so she must be jumping down on the live stream. Alex, would you be a sweetheart? There are handouts right on the chair in front of that big stack, the ones that are stapled. Just start one and pass it down, and you don't have to do all the things, but just get that started. All right, nobody peeks on the back pages yet. We just start on the front page here, okay? Because I got some really good stuff on those back pages. And for those of you who are on the live stream, those handouts will be available to you after this event. We'll get those uploaded. They just got finished this morning. So again, my intention here for you today is to really inspire you that it's completely possible to make $100,000. And it could actually be done in a month. It could be done in a day. But if at least let's get you started that you can make 6 figures next year with this plan. Does that sound good? That takes everybody's account for where they are in their business cycle? Yes? Takes a little stress off. It feels stressful to think about making $100,000 by the end of the year? Interesting. Anybody share Dorothy's interesting opinion? Point of view? It would seem stressful to make that much? Why would it seem stressful? That would have to be a lot. Oh, there are pins. Yeah, there's pins down there if you guys need some. So it's stressful to make $100,000, huh? What if it were easy? Well, okay, so my mentor did this example with me one time. So how many of you in your life have ever made $1,000? I think everybody in the room is raising their hand, and all you live stream people are raising your hand, right? Okay, so in order to make $1 million in a year, you really just need to make 1,000 in the morning and 1,000 in the afternoon, 7 days a week, right? So what is challenging there is the time increment. You've all have made $1,000 before, but what you're not good is at maintaining the energy that it takes to do that twice a day, every day, all the time. But you have ramped yourself up in other ways in life. If any of you are athletes, or I'm working with Maria, she's got me on this cardio program, and I swear I couldn't run at 8 miles an hour, like she's trying to kill me or something. And then she covered the little monitor, and I didn't know that I was running at 8. And then I got done, and I was like, oh, I didn't die, right? So all of us have done things we didn't think we were ever going to be able to do. So this part of this today is just to wrap your head around all the fun and easy and creative ways that you can make $100,000 and have it be so much fun and so easy. And we're going to throw away all the beliefs that it has to be hard, that we have to try hard, that we have to work with people we don't want to work with, and whatever that might be. Now, over the course of helping people make a lot of money in various businesses, I've worked with all kinds of people in all kinds of businesses. Yes, there's a 7-step process, but the 7-step process, unfortunately, is not linear. It's not like do this, and then do that, and then do that in that order. So I have to show you what all 7 are right now, just for the pure fact that you have to understand that over the course of you making the $100,000, you're going to be moving in and out of these steps at varying paces. You're going to have different ahas at different times, and that's perfectly okay. Okay? So I'm going to walk you through the 7 steps now, just so you see a big picture of what we're doing, and then we're going to dive into each step individually. Does that sound good? Okay. So the first step is that we have to decide. This is the hardest. This is the one most of you waffle on, because you think that if you do it once, you never have to do it again. But if any of you have been in a long-term marriage or a long-term relationship, you know that every single day it's a decision to stay with that person, or to choose that relationship, or to choose whatever it is. So deciding is actually the thing we're going to do every day, all the time, constantly. The next thing is to pick a profitable problem. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Then we're going to choose a model, and I'm going to give you 2 ways to do this so that there's not a gazillion ways for you to make money. I'm going to ask you to decide how many clients you're willing to work with and at what price. I'll give you a simple, easy way to do that. You need to prepare an outcome-based offer. No more are we going to be selling your widgets or selling whatever it is that you do. I want you to have a truly transformational offer, and we'll talk about the steps that go into that. And you're going to get better at explaining what that transformational offer is over time. We're going to bust through our limiting beliefs, because all of you have various beliefs about yourself, people, money, and all of that. Then we have to make sure you're visible enough to see these people in your life, and then we have to actually serve them by enrolling them into our program. So, very simply, those are your 7 steps. Does any of that seem like anything you guys can't do? No. It seems like it's doable, right? Okay. As we go along, I want you to, though, write down what limiting beliefs that you have about things. So what are you noticing that comes up as far as, I can't do that, she's crazy, no one would ever pay me for that? If you'll jot those down on the handout you've got, we're going to spend some time working and just dissipating the energy around those today, blowing those up so that those are no longer obstacles for you. So the first step that I mentioned is the most important one I said, and that's to decide. So all of you, whether 100,000 seems like something you can do this month, or 100,000 seems like something you want to do for the next year, this quote is perfect for this example. Shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. So in my experience, when I kept trying to have a 6-figure business, I would come painfully shy of that 6-figure mark. But when I decided, because my coach had me get honest, that I really wanted a $1 million business, because in order to live the life I really wanted to live and to have a team who could support me in building my business, I kind of needed to make $1 million in order to pay for all the travel and all the marketing and all the team that I needed. And I hit the 100 much faster when I was shooting for $1 million. But when I kept trying to just shoot for 100, it was like 98,000, and you were like, right? So shoot for this 100,000. Go for 200 if you want. Go for $1 million. Whatever is going to motivate you to create this. And I am purposely focusing on the money aspect of this, although I know all of you are sort of heart-centered entrepreneurs or you want to really help people. But we still need to live with money in the real world here. We still have to pay rent. We still need to buy food. And we need to be taking good care of ourselves in order to be the business people that we need to be. So if you're making the decision that you're deciding to do this, then what happens tomorrow when somebody tells you, you ask somebody to work with you and they tell you no? Do you go, oh, Mandy's wrong, this won't work, I can't do this? Or do you say, okay, next, who else is there, right? So for me, the family and I, it was our wedding anniversary on Sunday, so we went out bowling. And bowling's not those activities you do on a regular basis. So I had like bowling butt on Monday. My one hiney hurt, not the other one. So I'm complaining to my trainer that I might not go work out today because my one hiney hurts, right? She's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, do you want the goal that you set for yourself in 2 months? I was like, well, yeah. Okay, go to the gym. Go to the gym. I don't care if your hiney hurts. Go to the gym. So what are you going to let stop you? And go back to this place right here. If you need to write out on a sheet of paper, I will generate $100,000 by this date, and put it on the mirror, and put it on the laptop screen, and put it everywhere in the house, do that. Do that to remind yourself when it's time to make a decision that will stray you. You've already decided this is going to happen. You've already decided that this is going to be. Right? And then there's nothing that can stop you. So second here is, now that we've decided it's going to happen, let me ask a question. Do you have any questions on the deciding it's going to happen? Have you ever decided something's going to happen before and it didn't? So do you bring that fear into new situations? A little bit? Okay. So what do we need to change? What would it take for you to know that everything in the past is perfect, it's just as it needed to be, and not bring that, quote, the judgment on that situation into this new situation? And then to be in the question constantly of, what would it take to hit my goal on time or ahead of schedule? And be in that question every day. So when you get hit with a challenge, you're saying, okay, well, what would it take for me to get the extra money I'm looking for here, or come into contact with the new people I'm looking for here? Being in the question instead of having a judgment on what has happened frees you up to create, frees you up to be more creative with what's happening in the world. Does that make sense? Okay. A profitable transformational problem, a PTP, is what we're going for here. So how we start doing this is we have to stop selling coaching, consulting, therapy, fitness, wrinkle reducers, legacy videos. That's not what people are buying. But the challenge is we often don't know what it is that they really want. So how do we talk about the voodoo that we do that changes people's lives so that clients will say, and I've got a little video for you here. Most all of you have seen this, I hope. And for those of you on the live stream, we're watching the When Harry Met Sally video here.
You don't know that, they just met me.
That's disgusting.
I know, I feel terrible.
You know, I'm so glad I never got involved with you. I just would have ended up being some woman who had to get up out of bed and leave at 3 o'clock in the morning and go clean your andirons. And you don't even have a fireplace. Not that I would know this.
Why are you getting so upset? This is not about you.
Yes, it is. You are a human affront to all women, and I am a woman.
Hey, I don't feel great about this, but I don't hear anyone complain.
Of course not. You're out the door too fast.
I think I have an okay time.
How do you know?
Yeah, how do I know I know?
Because they...
Yes, because they...
How do you know that they're really...
What are you saying? That they fake orgasm?
It's possible.
Really?
What? Most women at one time or another have faked it.
Well, they have her faked it with me.
How do you know?
Because I know.
Oh. Right. That's right. I forgot. You're a man.
What was that supposed to mean?
Nothing. It's just that all men are sure it never happens to them, and most women at one time or another have done it, so you do the math.
You don't think that I can tell the difference? Get out of here.
Oh. Ooh.
You okay?
Oh. Oh, God. Ooh. Oh, God. Oh. 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 Oh, God. Oh, yeah, right there. Oh. 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 Oh, God. Oh. Yes. 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 Oh. Oh, yes. 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 Oh. Yes. 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 Oh. 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 Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have her cheese heaven.
So that video brings to mind for me that it's not actually, like, the woman's not saying, doesn't even care what the woman's having to eat, right? She doesn't care that it's a roast beef or a turkey on rye or whatever. I'll have what she wants the experience that woman's having, even though at this point it's fake, right? So we have to talk about what we do in such a way that people are like, yeah, I want some of that. I want that. I want that outcome. I want that experience. It's not what's actually happening in the situation there that the people are buying into. So I'm going to twist your brain just a little bit here, and I know that this is going to spark some questions. And again, I'm afraid that this isn't a linear conversation, but I have been involved, I have a master's degree, I've been taught marketing, right? And I've been in the real world helping people do marketing. But I, for myself, when it came to selling my own services as a service professional, I struggled with these kinds of things because I was doing transformational work for people. I wasn't just like, doing widgets or creating something like that. So I read all the copywriting books, I've studied all the marketing stuff, and have you ever been told, okay, just, write out your clients' problems and solutions, or write out their pain points? And you're kind of like, yeah, good, yep, okay, right? And you're stuck in it. So as I've learned to do that, and as I've learned to integrate energy and spirituality, I'm realizing that all of this stuff that we're seeing that happens in nature or in our physical reality is the same stuff that's happening at the soul or the spiritual level. So I'm going to go out on a tangent here and talk about something in a way that probably has never been broached to you before, but hopefully it starts to tie in that everything is related. And again, we're going to have to flip-flop between reality and creation and consciousness and not, because it's just kind of all messed up. So can I take you on that little journey and you'll be okay? And if you feel upside down or twisted out, we'll talk about it afterwards. So, because you know I love acronyms to help you teach you. The way we're going to get to the core of the problem, or the way we're going to make sure that in our marketing and in our sales and in our conversations, we're really talking about what people need and want, I'm using the acronym CORE. Okay? And CORE stands for, first of all, we're talking of the celestial. And then we're talking of outward physical manifestations. Then we're talking about the real heart of the matter. And then we're going into an energetic truth. And we're bopping in and out of these until we get something that's really juicy enough so where somebody's like, I'll have what she's having. I want that. So let me give you an example of this. So Mary is someone's ideal client, and what people will say if you're working with somebody and this is like a life coach situation, this person's a life coach and her ideal client is a woman, right? Then most of you come up with things like, oh, I'm going to give them life balance, or Mary needs life balance, she needs confidence, she needs empowerment, she needs self-esteem. And you say those airy, fairy, fluffy words like life balance. Can anybody tell me what really life balance is? For each of you, it ends up being a little bit different, because some of you have kids you want to play with, and some of you have adventures you want to go on, and some of you have empires you want to create. So life balance is really an airy, fairy sort of celestial concept. It's not something any of us can just say, this is a podium. There's nothing else but this is a podium. Make sense? So some of you are trying to sell that airy, fairy, fluffy stuff. And we need to get into the outward manifestation of what that looks like. So a lack of life balance, confidence, self-esteem is Mary would be spending too much time at the office, not having enough time to see her kids, feeling like there was never enough money, even though she was working like crazy. Those are the things in traditional marketing they say keep Mary up at night. Those are the things that Mary's actually really thinking. That she spends too much time at the office. I'm always there. I spend 12 hours at the office. The real heart of the matter, though, and because people buy from emotions, is we have to get to what does, okay, she's spending too much time at the office. What does that mean? What does that make her feel? It makes her feel like she dreads getting up in the morning because she knows it's going to be another stress-filled, crappy day. She's overworked, underappreciated, and her boss hasn't said a kind word to her in months, and she's way underpaid. That is the real heart of the matter. Those are the feelings that she's feeling as she's living her life. So we're having the outward manifestation of this not being, of not having life balance, and then we're having the feelings that that creates, right? Now, the energetic truth of this, which is the place that you're selling, you're ultimately trying to transform them. You're trying to transform them into this kind of person. So the soul, perfect, everything's divine kind of level is she wakes up every morning eager to go to work. She makes a great salary and is regularly acknowledged publicly for her efforts and receives regular pay. She feels comfortable and at ease. She's intellectually challenged and stimulated. That is what Mary looks like at the end of her journey of working with a life coach. Once she has integrated life balance, confidence, empowerment, and self-esteem. So do you see how those four things go together, right? Most of us either come at something from that nice balance, self-esteem kind of thing, and we're trying to sell that, and then we wonder why nobody pays for it. How do we get into the words that Mary's actually using in her real life? And then let's get in Mary's head with, she's dreading waking up every morning. That alarm clock sounds like hell when it goes off every morning, right? She is dragging herself into work every day. And do you see that if you can sell Mary a solution that will help her feel like who she's really meant to be, that she will be more committed and more engaged in doing what it takes to get to that place. The other place is we often know this truth as healers, and we try to fix people way too fast before we know that they're ready to be fixed. So we also have to let somebody go through their own journey of those 4 steps. Any questions before I move on to how to do this for yourself? Did I lose you? You like that? Do you see how it kind of, goes together? I don't have a visual yet for this. Maybe Alex can help me with what this visually looks like, but I'm kind of seeing it all. You've got to get the head and the heart and the soul aligned, and you're helping somebody to do that. So the question that you're asking yourself is if I were following my ideal client around who had that ideal outcome, what would their life look like? So you guys are going to meet Ken later. I've been working with Ken, and we just put together a program much like what we're talking about today. And so Ken deals with people who have come out of rehab, and now they've got to go back to their real life, and they're stuck back in the situations that got them into rehab in the first place. So he's going to work with them after rehab to make sure that they don't relapse and go back into rehab again, because most people do if they aren't trained on how to change their lives. So if he was following somebody around who had successfully stayed out of rehab, was sober and confident about their life, what would their lives look like? What would that be? And then we have to go back through all the other 4 phases of it, of, well, what would their life look like if they didn't have that? If in 6 months they were still hanging out at the bars where they had hung out before, or hanging out with the people that had stressed them to drink, they wouldn't have that outcome, right? So how would you know that your client has the ideal outcome? And this is where you've got to tap into that feeling place for them. What would they be feeling? What would they be experiencing as well? That's what they really, really want. So, as we walk through these steps, list out all the benefits your clients can get from working with you, and think about whatever words they might use. This is also the perfect opportunity to start listening in the conversations you're already having at what words they're using. So I'll talk more about Ken's program later, but as I was talking just through the program last night, just with my husband to kind of share the day, and he's got clients who deal with rehab, he says it's not really the relapse that the person is looking at. What the person really wants is to stay sober and in control and have power in their lives. So we may need to change the program a little bit to be something more empowering than the avoiding the relapse. But there's also the place where in marketing, have you ever done the pull marketing versus the push, or away from a pain point or towards something good? Sometimes there's some populations that really want to avoid a pain and they want to avoid rehab. So it might work that that's the title. But other people might be really empowered by staying sober or staying clean and sober, whatever that might be. So you want to empower them to that possibility. You just have to play with what words they're comfortable with using. And everybody see that as an example of how that might work for you, right? So in Maria's case, we're working on a program about how to lose and keep the last 5 to 10 pounds off for an alpha female, right? She's not looking at and she's doing both selling. It's having that tropical toned and fit body, and it's also keeping that 5 to 10 nagging pounds off that women fluctuate through, right? So she's going with both pieces to avoid that pain and to have the future result. For each result that you come up with, we still have to walk through the other 3 phases. This might be something that you need to mastermind and brainstorm with each other on, okay? So when somebody gives you that airy-fairy word of life balance or I'm going to empower my clients, go, well, what does that really mean? And each one of your clients, if they're a different target market, will have a different meaning of the word empowerment, or they'll have a different meaning of the word, life balance or self-esteem. We were talking with Ken. If somebody is constantly getting themselves in a situation with rehab, they're having low self-esteem. He knows that. But also I know if you have trouble asking for what you're worth or what value you want to charge in the world, you've got some self-esteem issues. But I can't go around telling people, you got a self-esteem issue, because they need to understand it from the perspective that they're at where they are. Like, would you like to not have to worry about where your money's going to come from every month? That points out they have that problem without just saying, oh, you got a self-esteem problem. Make sense? And some of us are that annoying person who's just like, yeah, you got a problem. I can help you. Nobody buys that way. Nobody buys that way well. And then the third step here is to research what you came up with to determine if it's going to be rich and compelling and juicy. This is why I don't advocate you creating programs before you have buyers. I would rather you go out, have conversations with the people in your lives, enroll them in working with you or helping them with that problem, and then go create whatever it might be. And because I'm giving you these 7 steps and telling you that it's not linear, you can do that. When Marnie and I first had a conversation, we taught her, go have a speaking gig, go enroll people in what's possible for them, and then get on the phone with them and have a conversation, because they're going to tell you what they want and why they don't have it. And if you're able to connect the dots to see how you might help them, organically a program is going to come out from that, because you'll be able to see what they need in order to make the change. And then Marnie's like, I don't have to have something created before I thought I had to have all these things done before I had. No, because the people are going to tell you what it is they need and they want. And that is way better than you walking around trying to sell your thing to people. Isn't it better to just have a great conversation with people and find out how you can serve them and go, okay, cool, we can help with that? Totally takes the stress out of having to have it all figured out. For those of you who really like to control things. I'm one of those. But I have to warn you here. I've got 2 warnings for you. Unfortunately, you can't create what isn't there. Sometimes we do this with the benefits. So you're like, I help people connect to their desire to be green, or I help people to connect with their desire to be authentic, something like that, right? Another one of those airy-fairy kinds of things. But you can't help people connect with something that they aren't already connected with. That is like a universal truth killer. Everybody is already perfect and whole as it is. They have just forgotten that or feel separate from that. But if you say something like, I give people the tools they need to go green without breaking a sweat or the bank so that they can live longer and healthier and happier lives, you're actually talking about what needs to happen in the physical world for them to get back in touch with who they really are and what they really want. Okay? You can't sell the air of it. It won't work. Make sense? Did that one blow your mind? No? Thinking. All right, number 2. People already know what's holding them back. This is why in the compassionate conversion conversation, it works so well to say, well, why don't you have what you want? Most of the time, people are like, well, I just won't do what it takes. Right? Okay. And then you have to understand what that is code for. Well, I really won't do what it takes means I'm afraid of my own self. I'm afraid that I could be that powerful. I do things to sabotage myself. That's really what they're saying there. It's really what they're saying. And if you can get good, which we're going to have a whole module just about the sales conversation, then you're seeing where they're disconnected from their soul at and where you're just helping piece back those things together. But they already know what's holding them back, so don't go telling them what's holding them back. Help them to see the tie between what they're saying that's holding them back is really what that underlying core problem is, the C. It's the celestial version of it, or the lack of being connected at that soul level. So if the therapist already knows the relationship between addiction and self-esteem, a money coach already knows the relationship between lack of money and self-esteem, they're experiencing the outward manifestation, and you have to meet them where they're at with that. Okay? So this is where I said we go in and out of those core levels constantly. So we kind of have to know what all 4 of them are before we're able to really sit there and go, okay, this person's telling me a very celestial kind of concept. I've got to get them to tell me what the heart of the matter is and what their soul is really longing for so I can help them get to that place. Make sense? So go back through the core, the 4 processes, until you get clarity on all angles of the situation. And this is where, unfortunately, we're going to get a couple clients, we're going to learn a little bit more, we're going to go get a couple more clients, and we're going to learn a little bit more, And it's a constant evolutionary process. And we're just going to keep notes, and we're going to keep learning as we go along. Now notice I said we're going to go get clients, and then we're going to learn, and then we're going to go get more clients. So don't get stuck thinking you have to have all of this figured out right away. The easiest and best thing for you to do is to find a client that you can serve them, learn a little bit, and go find more. So the other hypothesis I have right now, or belief I want you to take on, is that the $100,000 you want is already right here, either in the room, or in the neighborhood, or within your current sphere of influence. Like, it's totally possible that there's that much money that's just waiting for you to have. You're just not seeing it. So part of what this challenge for you is, as we go through is, and we did this when I talked to Ken, I said, okay, the quickest way for me to help you make more money and get more clients is for me to help you go back to somebody you've already been serving, or somebody you are serving, and enroll them in a bigger possibility for themselves. So we went from him, and we're going to give him lots of love and support today as he goes and tries this on a client tonight. But the client's been coming for regular sessions, and I said, well, do regular sessions really help and serve that client getting what they really want? And he's like, no, they need these other things as well. Okay, great. Can we create a program that's going to do that? And so he gets to now invite the client into the total transformation tonight and say, oh, I've really been thinking about you. I've really looked at what would help you get to what you really want, and here's what I did to create that for you. And my guess is, and our chances are, that there's probably 10 other people for him to go sell that same program to. But even if not, we're going to learn something from inviting that new client into a new possibility instead of it just being, yeah, you're going to come to therapy every week. Well, what if I could give you meditations and workbooks, and I'll be available for that crisis when you're in the bathroom or at the bar ready to take a drink. I will be there for you. I support you through that. You think that would totally transform that person's life, and that no other therapist is really doing that? Or if the therapist is doing that, Ken also mentioned, well, I used to do all this stuff and just kind of include it in my normal hourly price. Well, we tend to get resentful when that happens, because we're like, this person's bugging me outside of working hours. But if we could just say, you know what, the whole program, for me to be energetically available to you for this whole amount of time, it's worth this much. I'm charging this. Then when the person calls 5 or 6 times, it's not a big deal, because you have some extra money in there to play with. Make sense? We'll talk about Ken's program later. We'll be looking at that. All right, step 3. Everybody good so far? Yes! All right. We're going to pick a model. Now we're going to do this from the linear perspective, and then I have more of like a creative perspective to give you. How you pick this. So these are 7 ways to make $100,000. Right now, most of you have been in my network for a while. I highly encourage you to create a program just to have in your back pocket. Like right now, if somebody came to me and needed a lot of support, like an in-house CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, I would be like, great, that's $100,000. You and I will work together for a whole year, it's $100,000. I just have that program created so that I can tell the universe I'm ready to receive that whenever that's possible. And I kind of had fun daydreaming. Well, what would I do with somebody for $100,000? Oh, we could do all kinds of things, right? All of you should have a $100,000 program just for the pure, 1, it's going to freak you out, and 2, for the pure fun of creating what that might be. So if that's too much right now for you to say, I'm just going to get 1 at 100, we can do 2 at 50, 4 at 25, 5 at 20, 10 at 10, or 20 at 5,000. It can be that simple just to say, I'm just going to pick these things. I'm going to pick one to go with. Now, my recommendation for you is to do the 10 at 10 if you need a place to start. I'm going to match this with the fact that I would much rather see you working really well with 10 people. And 10 people at $10,000 in a year-long contract is only $833 a month. And 10 people is a good number of people that you could serve in a month. If we get to the 20 number, then that's a lot of people to juggle, right? That's about the number of people in the room here. So for me, I realize that I can energetically hold knowing about 20 people's businesses. If it gets more than that, I get a little zany and I start to forget about what everybody's up to. But with 20 people, I can pretty much keep track of, okay, who's doing a product launch now, and who's got a program at this level, and who needs to be kicked in the butt with sales with this. All of those things I can sort of keep handled, right? And I can also kind of take it off when I need to go do something else. So just know for yourself, it may be that, you know, you need 5 people. Like really, you can only help 5 people. But 10 at 10 seems to be a good sort of easy number. It's also a nice number to say, you know, my year-long program is $10,000. And if you're not used to charging in this way, it's easy to start with something like that and energetically grow into being able to offer that. Now, another way that I suggest to do this, and this is the way that Ken and Marnie have looked at things, is if we look at where somebody wants to be, and we see for them that they have one major problem that needs to be dealt with in order to get to that place, or one thing that would help them out a lot. Normally, you can get one problem handled in about 30 days. Okay? But if they have between 2 to 3 problems, it's going to take a little more time, right? And if it's more, like 3 to 4 problems, it's like 6 months. Anything more than 4 problems, and we have a 12-month. We need to have a 12-month program. So, for example, if somebody comes to me and they just want to get clients from Facebook, I can look at that and go, I can show you a roadmap for how to get clients on Facebook, but it's going to take 30 days for us to get the process set up. But I also know when I have a conversation, and this is why we interview clients to see if they're going to be a good fit, in order for me to get you to get clients in 30 days from Facebook, I need you to have a target market. I need you to have an offering. I need you to have a system, a voodoo system that you do for people. I need you to be able to spend money, invest money in traffic. So if you don't have those 4 other pieces, plus like the belief that it's possible, then I'm not going to have success with you in 30 days getting you clients from Facebook. I'm going to say, look, we really haven't decided on a target market yet. We really don't understand what it is you're selling people. We really don't understand how you're serving them. We have to get those things in order first. So let's spend 6 months getting that to happen before we can get the clients from Facebook. So I'm going to diagnose for them, like, okay, I get that you want to lose some weight, but we're going to have to attack a couple of different things here to make that happen. So what are all the things that it's going to take for somebody to have? And that's what you're listening for in a sales conversation. You're listening for sort of how deep is somebody in their problems. Is it little tweaks, or is it a lot of things that are going to help them get in line to get what they want? So questions with that. This one always challenges people a little bit to wrap from that core level what that looks like in somebody's life. So you're now have to create a balance between what you're going to do it is going to do in order to receive the result. So in this case, that you're saving them from say, you didn't turn your homework in, like you're not doing your homework. I need you to text me when you're in the bathroom and you're about to freak out. You can't just, go do what you're used to doing. This is why I tell Maria my hiney hurts. Like, I want to stay at home and not work out today. No, go to the gym. And had I not reached out, I wouldn't have gotten the smack in the head to say, no, go to the gym. Right? And it was actually okay. On what to include in your HERO program. If you need it now, I have a home study program that will get you jump started on that list to get you started today. Today's about giving you the vision of what's possible. And you're going to go play. Some of you will go create something right now and then before